Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at how the new buddy system might impact PvP. I understand that this may only have a PvE impact, but I'm just speculating here, so bear with me. So for those that are wondering, this is the new announcement, the latest announcement that Pokemon Go had, and they have it posted on Pokemon Go Live. And it's like what you kind of envisioned when Buddy System was first announced. You thought a Pokemon was going to follow you around and it was going to be all cool and stuff. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case until now, or until soon. Whenever that is, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, sometime in 2020. And there's 4 levels. Good Buddy, where they basically just follow you around. Great Buddy, and this follows like the friendship thing. Great Buddy, which your Pokemon bring you items to help you catch Pokemon. Ultra Buddy basically brings you souvenirs that you can keep track of, which is kind of cool. And then Best Buddy, and Best Buddy is where all the action happens, and basically it allows you to get a CP boost as long in combat as long as you're assigned as long as it's assigned as your buddy. So that's pretty interesting. But let's go ahead and dive into what's driving, what could speculate on how that might be coming to play. So my speculation is that it's going to be a temporary, or not temporary, like when it's assigned as your buddy, which is temporary, I guess, change in your level of your Pokemon. How that's normally done is through what we call combat power multiplier, or CPM, is basically the changing variable that determines a Pokemon's effective stats at a certain level. So from level 30 to 40, the increase in CPM decreases by 0.02% per half level, and we assume the same rate of change after level 40, which means that at level 40, the CPM is 0.79. At level 41, it's 0.7959. At level 43, it's 0.8070. At 45, it's 0.8179. So you'll see not huge changes in numbers, but remember this affects 3 different stats. So basically you have to like cube the difference between them, roughly. And we're going to take a look at several examples. So the first example we're going to take a look at is Sableye going from level 40 to 41. So at level 40, it has maxed out 100% IVs, CP of 1476, and its attack is 123.3, goes to 124.2. Its defense goes from 119.3 to defense of 120.2, and its HP goes from 120 to 120, so no changes there. So very minimal changes, what we kind of expect. It's only 1 level difference. And if we go ahead and let's take a look at some matchups that are very close for Sableye. The first one that I want to take a look at is Probopass, and you'll see at Probopass in the one shield matchup, if we bullet generate here, what am I doing here? Actually, that's not a rank 1 Probopass, that's why. If it's not a rank 1, then it can result in CMP tie, but you'll see a rank 1 Probopass will actually beat a Sableye with 2 HP remaining. So the question is, does it change when Sableye goes from level 40 to level 41? And I ran some calculations here, and what I've done is I've calculated the damage that Shadow Claw and Foul Play does, and how much damage Spark and Rock Slide do to Sableye. And the first column is going to be level 40, and the second column is going to be level 41. So you'll see that Shadow Claws under level 40 and 41 do 3 damage, and you'll see that Foul Play goes from 33 to 34 damage, and you'll see Sparks do the same damage and Rock Slides do the same damage. And that's kind of expected that most things would stay the same, because there's like very minimal change going from level 40 to 41. And if we take a look back here, you'll see that 2 Foul Plays land, and that means they do 1 additional damage each, which means that they do 2 damage, which means against a rank 1 Probopass, it would actually turn a loss to a CMP tie. Another very close matchup is Venusaur. So if we take a look at Venusaur, we're going to pull up a rank 1 Venusaur, and we're going to see that it loses to Venusaur, and Venusaur has 7 HP remaining. Are we going to be able to see a flip in that particular matchup? And the short answer is no, because Shadow Claw and Foul Play don't change, Vine Whip doesn't change, and Frenzy Plant goes from 80 to 79. So if we take a look here, you'll see it does 80 damage, going from 79. Doesn't really matter because Sableye has 71 health before the last Frenzy Plant, and the Frenzy Plant doing 79 or 80 damage is not going to matter. Venusaur is going to win the one shield matchup and going to be able to survive the damage from the foul play, which is going to do the exact same amount of damage, whether it's level 40 or 41. So you see very minimal change there. For it's going to allow it. Sableye is still going to be a little bit better, but not really a dramatic change for Sableye. When we take a look at Medicham, we'll see that it goes from 1431 CP to 1492, going from level 40 to 43. Its attack goes from 107.5 to 109.8. Its defense goes from 132 to 134.8. And its HP goes up 3 from 134 to 137. So we take a look at Medicham. And the matchup that we're going to be taking a look at is against a rank 1 Toxicroak. And we're going to see in the one shield matchup, Toxicroak is able to pull this off with 1 HP remaining. And you'll see that going into the last one, it has 1 HP left. And we know that, okay, each of these counters do 4 damage. So even purely based off the 1 HP thing, even after the last counter, it will have 0 HP. As opposed to it's -3 right now. So any less damage from the counters from Toxicroak or the Sludge Bomb from Toxicroak will result in Medicham being able to win. So if we go ahead and take a look at Medicham versus Toxicroak, we see that the Ice Punches do 1 additional damage, which is going to be good news for the Medicham. And we see that Sludge Bomb does one less damage. So imagine it had basically has 5 HP and -4, that means it has 1 HP, and as well, this Ice Punch does 1 additional damage, which allows it to KO it after this counter. So basically, the roles will flip, and Medicham will have 1 HP left, and Toxicroak will have 0. So this results in Medicham going from a loss to a win. So good job, champ. And we're going to move on to Raikou, which is also a very close matchup. If we take a look here, we'll see that it's a rating of 457 for Raikou. And we'll see that the counters actually go up the counters actually break from 6 to 7, which is actually pretty extraordinary. And it looks like that's actually quite interesting. The Ice Punches actually don't change. Oh, wow. Okay, I was not necessarily expecting that to be the case. Wow, I'm actually a little bit surprised. There's no stab on it, and there's stab here, and it just reached this particular breakpoint. That's actually pretty interesting. So if we take a look at Medicham versus Raikou in the one shield, let's optimize this, and you're gonna see that Raikou is able to survive with 10 HP left, but you'll see that it does way more. It does 12 counters, which would mean that it would faint on the Ice Punch, and then as well, this Shadow Ball is an overkill or an overfeint on Medicham, and you'll see that it does 2 less damage, which means it does 101. But going into this last matchup, it only has 97, so it wouldn't really make that big difference. So it would actually turn a loss to a CMP tie. So that's pretty good. Picks up a win from a loss and a tie from a loss. And we're going to take a look at Tropius, another example with Air Slash and Leaf Blade. And we're going to see that the counters do the same damage. Ice Punch does 1 additional damage. And then you'll see Leaf Blade does 1 additional less damage. But that's not going to be enough to overcome this pretty tough matchup for it. You're going to see in the one shield, Tropius is able to survive and win with 33 less 33 HP, which means that it would do one additional. Oh, actually, I forgot to apply the super effectives here. Let me actually redo this calculation. It's not going to make a difference, I don't think. I could be wrong. Because it's double super effective. And what am I doing wrong here? Let me quickly check. 123. I think I forgot to update Tropius's defenses here. So actually, Maybe my calculations are off. I'm going to quickly update these numbers. There you go. It actually does. Oh, yeah. It makes no change on the. Oh, actually, no. The counters are resisted. Well, this is a total fail on my part. There you go. So I actually probably should double check. I'm so confident on my other ones. I forgot that there was different resistance. So anyways, you see 4 here, 80 here. They stay at 4, and it goes to 82, which is not going to make that big a difference. It basically means that Tropius is going to have like 2 HP left, and it's not going to make a difference in that particular matchup. So even with a 3-level increase, it's a pretty big win, 405. But it's not going to move the needle that much. You'll see that Toxicroak is a win. Raikou turns to a tie, so maybe some of these in the middle would turn to a tie or potentially a win. So it's going to move the needle a little bit for Medicham by picking up three additional levels. If we go to Dustox, we're going to take a look at Dustox versus Plusle. And you'll see that the Confusions do the same amount of damage, and the Silverwind picks up a little bit more, even though there's quite a pretty decent size change in the attack. So if we take a look at Dustox, which was a pretty interesting example, and we go against Plusle with maxed out stats, and you'll see that it loses by 1 HP. So you're going to see with the Dustox doing 2 additional damage on the Silverwind. It's going to be able to KO before it's going to be able to get off a discharge. So that's pretty good. So it picks up that win, which is actually going to be pretty decent. Going to have like actually, what's the change in? Actually, I didn't change the the calculations here. You're gonna see it has 5 more HP, so it's gonna have like 20 something HP, which is a pretty big win for Dustox. We're gonna take a look at Vigoroth. In the Vigoroth matchup, we are going to see that I'm gonna make this a rank 1 Vigoroth, and you're gonna see that Vigoroth does survive with 4 HP left over, and you'll see that the Body Slam does 39 damage, so it's going to be an overfeint. It goes from 15 to 0 and does 39 damage, so it's very unlikely that that's going to change. It's going to have to KO it beforehand, but when we look at Dustox versus Vigoroth, we'll see that the Silverwinds do 1 additional damage, the Body Slams do 2 additional less, but the counters and the Confusions stay the same, which means that basically Vigoroth's going to have 2 additional less HP because you're only able to land 1 Silverwind, which means Vigoroth is still going to win. Just barely, though. It's going to have 2 additional less HP, and if it was a less optimized Vigoroth, then there's maybe certainly a chance for level 45 Dustox to actually win that matchup, which is pretty impressive. Because when we compare to, actually Venomoth may win, probably not actually. If we compare it to, so a rank 1, so Venomoth is able to win because it's able to do the additional damage. But if we were to put this at a default example, or even a bad example, also Venomoth is still able to win. So even at level 45, it only goes to 1311 CP. It's still not able to necessarily overcome the differences from the Vigoroth matchup, which is let's see where Vigoroth is, which would result in which was on paper a pretty close matchup, and it does make it even closer. It goes from like 4 HP left over to 2, but still not able to overcome it with a 5 level increase. So my overall conclusion, let me just get rid of this. Nope, that's me. My overall conclusion is I'm going to call this the Buddy Plus system. We'll make some more Pokemon viable. I've only looked at the Great League, for example, but in Ultra, that's also going to be the case, and make some good Pokemon even better, but it's far from game-breaking. You'll saw even in Dustox, when it picks up 5 additional levels, it's still not able to flip some of the matchups. And this is partly due to the change in CPM dramatically dropping from level 30 plus is expected that even when you power up Pokemon 5 more levels, it only makes the stat product roughly 11% better product wise. But it and the only Pokemon that are going to see the full benefit of this 11% are the Pokemon that are going to be already pretty low CP. You probably have to be like around 1400 CP and lower to be able to see the full benefit, and you're still constrained by the 1500 CP limit for the Great League. And oftentimes matches are determined by wider margins than the wins themselves. So, or the change in the, that's not really good sentence to end it, but basically the matches are determined by a wider margin than the increase in the stat products themselves. So as you saw in that matchup, the body slams did so much damage over the remaining HP that Dustox would have, that even an increase in HP and defense and attack would not be allowed to overcome that particular matchup in even shield and even energy and even health. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. It's going to be a fun and exciting feature if it does impact PvP, whether it's 1 level, 3 levels, 5 levels. I hope it's not anything more than 5 levels. Then you're talking about potentially a pretty big change. And it's only one Pokemon that you can bring in, and I really hope that it's actually before that the CP change happens before you enter the battle. So there's not like any level 40. 45 Medichams or 45 Sableyes or 45 Registeels going in, or not level 45, the +5, plus whatever, right? Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. A lot of rambling. Hopefully this is informative and gives you some perspective on what to expect for these changes. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I'll see everyone in the next video.